This episode of Storytellers is brought to you by Bonafonte Friction, high-quality bell housings.
I'm Nicky Bonafonte, and you're watching Storytellers at Competition Plus TV. Back in the old days, Scott used to, this was like 90 or 91, Scott used to drive in the van with us, and Frank Bradley was working for us, and Frank still is a practical joker, a good friend of ours, and Frank, he was always up to something. So back then, Jimmo used to drive in the truck, and I don't know, maybe Randy Green. Scott and I were in the van. We were in there. Good old Rughead was with us, Dave Landau. We're driving down the road, and Jono and some of the other guys, John Stewart, they're in the other van, and I got the honor of riding with my buddy Scott. And first thing Scott wants to do is when we leave the hotel, he wants to get some beer. So we pull over to a convenience store. He goes, "Go in and get me a 6-pack. It's probably a 12-pack. Anyway, why don't you go in? You go in. I'm your boss. All right. So I go in. I get him some beer. He starts cracking beers. I'm driving. He's drinking some beers. So says, "Hey, want a beer?" "Nope, I'm driving." "Who's your boss?" "Well, you are." I said, "Drink a beer." "All right, Scott, I'll have one beer." So I'm drinking a beer, and he's drinking a beer. We're driving down the road. Rughead's in the back. He's sitting there just drinking a beer. So we're coming up pretty fast on the rig, and the other van. Well, Jimmy Bradley, Frank's son, and Frank are in the van, and Scott says, "Man, let's moon these guys." "All right, go ahead, moon them." "No," he goes, "we're all going to moon them." I'm like, "Well, you and Rughead can moon them." He goes, "No, you're going to moon too." He goes, "Get out of the driver's seat." I'm like, "Scott, we're going 75 miles an hour or whatever. Like, can't get out of the driver's seat. Put it on cruise control and get the f*** out of the seat and get in the back." So he reaches over, he grabs the steering wheel. We get out in the passing lane. Scott gets his pants down, rolls his window down. We're in the back. He says, slide the van door open, get it open, and get your pants down. So we drop our pants. We're in the passing lane, at least 75 mile an hour. And we proceed, all three of us moon. Scott's ass is out the window, passenger seat. Our van door's open. We're holding on for dear life. Our pants are hanging down to our knees. Our backs are hanging out. This is a classic moon. And so we got 3 guys in the van, 3 guys mooning, and nobody driving the van. We go blasting by the truck. Frank Bradley, Jimmy Bradley in the van, and I got to admit that was like the all-time moon story for me ever. It was all Scott's idea, and I miss that guy so much. We just try to keep his memories alive, and we talk a lot about him. We tell a lot of stories, and he was definitely one of my best friends out here, and I miss him.